Keep on the watch. How long have you been keeping on the watch?
We're watching you, governing body. We're watching you. Have no fear. Welcome to my review of the 2020 Jehovah's Witness Governing Body Update number 8. Thanks for joining me on this video, guys. Let's dive right in. But before we do, please hit that red subscribe button. Well, actually hit it, thump it, smash it, thump it, or tap it very lightly. But please help me to get to 1,000 subscribers in the next couple of videos by hitting that red subscribe button and the notification bell. I thank you for your support.
We are certainly experiencing critical times, hard to deal with. These are the conditions we've been preaching about for years. In this update, let's review some of the prophecies being fulfilled right before our eyes and reflect on the timeliness of the November campaign publicizing God's kingdom.
So in this month's update, nothing has changed. The Jehovah's Witnesses governing body is running a campaign in order to try and get people back in the organisation. They recognise that lots of people are waking up and leaving, that their message isn't effective, so they need to now run a campaign. But you know what? The reality is this campaign is nothing new. Nothing new. I remember being a child back in the 60s and 70s, and there were always these special campaigns, special efforts, special literature always being printed so that it keeps the witnesses excited. Being out in the preaching work month after month after month, like anything, can get really dull, really monotonous. So what a way to excite and motivate the witnesses by running a special campaign, printing this literature. And in this campaign, it's all about God's kingdom. Again, running this campaign about God's kingdom, stirring the witnesses, encouraging them to get out there, speaking to people, contacting people who are inactive, family members who have stopped coming, stopped going rather to the meetings, for the elders to get even more active, contacting disfellowshipped and inactive ones. They're doing all of this just to enthuse and try and excite and motivate the members to go out and do more. There's always been war, crime, violence, pestilence, hunger, diseases, famines. There's always been that. As you read back from the book of Genesis in the Bible, it's always been like that, and it's not changed. That is just the nature of mankind, and it's always going to continue. But yet, using coronavirus, the COVID-19 situation, to instill fear in their members and getting their members to be even more active means that the governing body can keep a tighter grip on its members.
I was baptized in June 1941 in Des Moines, Iowa, and at the same time as Peggy, we were baptized in a horse watering tank there. And this was shortly before the International Convention in St. Louis, Missouri. We, as youngsters and children, were all asked to sit in the first rows in front of the stage. And Brother Rutherford gave the talk, Children of the King. And during this talk, at the conclusion, he said, there's a new book, the children book, and you will all get a free copy. That motivated me greatly. And of course, when it was studied later, that was even a greater motivation to serve Jehovah.
So this month, in this update, they show the experience of Richard Kelsey. He is a committee member of the branch in Central Europe. And do you know what? He looks like a lovely man. He talks about him and his wife Peggy, and they look like lovely people. But I can't help thinking that this poor man, he says he was baptized in 1941. So that would make him in the organisation for 80 years. Yeah, yes, that would be 80 years, coming up to 80 years. And you know what? I just feel for this bloke. Because him and his wife, they look like lovely people. And I just think to myself, you poor man, having been deceived and spiritually abused for so many years. And you know what? I look at this man and I think, do you know what? If he and his wife have been Jehovah's Witnesses for 80 years, all their lives, been part of the organisation since they were children, it feels kind of cruel to want them to wake up. Because you imagine waking up after spending 80 and more years of your life in an organisation, and you realise that you were being abused, spiritually abused, and it was all a lie. You know, so I have kind of mixed feelings about this poor bloke, Richard, and his wife. But what he says is really interesting. So he says that he's at the convention. It's the international convention, and Joseph Rutherford is there, and he does a speech. And he does a speech called Children of the King, and he invites all the kids down to the front row, and he releases this book called Children of the King. And he releases this book, and all the kids in the front row get a free copy. And this bloke is a kid at the time. He's really excited and motivated to get his free copy. And he says that getting this book and reading it and studying it makes him motivated to serve God.
And during this talk at the conclusion, he said, there's a new book, the children book, and you will all get a free copy. That motivated me greatly. And of course, when it was studied later, that was even a greater motivation to serve Jehovah.
Now, I recently watched a video by a guy called, well, he's a YouTuber, he's a fabulous YouTuber called Jason Zelda. Now, I don't usually recommend videos and YouTube channels because I think everybody needs to be free to come to their own findings, but this is one that I definitely will recommend. And on this channel called Jason Zelda, Jason does this incredible video. It's called Hidden History of the Watchtower Society Part 1, and I'm going to link it below. Now, it is a long video. It is just over 2 hours, but I recommend, and as I said, I don't normally recommend videos or YouTube channels, but I'm definitely doing it now. I recommend that you set 2 hours aside, you get yourself a nice cup of tea and a biscuit, and you sit down and you pop this on and you watch it or you listen to it. I was actually working and I had it on in the background, and honestly, seriously, you must watch it. As someone who was raised as a Jehovah's Witness and who's been out 30 years, this video was, I have to say, probably one of the most profound informational videos about the history of Jehovah's Witnesses that I've ever come across. And when I finished watching that video, so many things made sense. Because, you know, if you've watched any of my videos, you'll know that I've always said that Jehovah, that the Jehovah's Witnesses serve or worship, is not the God of the Bible. And I think most ex-Jehovah's Witnesses will say that. Anybody who's looked at Jehovah's Witnesses will all say that the God that Jehovah's Witnesses serve is not the God of the Bible. Okay, I've always said that the Jehovah's Witnesses God, their Jehovah, lives somewhere in New York. Yeah, lives, you know, in one of their buildings in New York. Having watched Jason Zelda's video, now I know, it's become so clear to me that Jehovah for the Jehovah's Witnesses is Joseph Rutherford. They're actually worshipping Joseph Rutherford. They are actually worshipping the man. And they probably do have, I've not been there, but they probably do have a statue or a picture of Joseph Rutherford in a prominent position somewhere in their Bethel building, and they are worshipping this man alongside other gods, because, you know, there are other gods, not just Jesus or the God of the Bible. There are other gods. But yeah, I really, you've just got to watch it, guys. Just, you know, after you've watched my video, just click the link below and watch Jason's video. It blew my mind. So this guy Richard gets his copy of the book Children of the King. So Joseph Rutherford gathers all the children, and, you know, children are the future. So if you want to sort of develop and change a culture of any organization, you start with the newest people, you start with the youngest people, you start with the children. So he starts with the children, giving all the children a book. Of course, kids back in the 40s, they're excited, they've got a gift. It's not like today where kids get gifts all over the place. They get a gift, it's a book. They're excited to get this book. They're looking at Joseph Rutherford, and bearing in mind the book is Children of the King. He's clearly the king, and these are his children. So this Richard Blake gets his book and is so excited to read the book, and, as he says, to serve God. Not God of the heavens, not the God of the Almighty, not God the Almighty, not God of the universe, not God of the heavens and the earth, not the Almighty, the all-powerful, the all-being. No. To serve God, to serve Joseph, to serve Joseph Rutherford, to serve Joseph Rutherford and Joseph Rutherford's God.
Young ones will see the faithfulness of the older ones and will want to imitate their faith. And of course, that's pleasing to Jehovah.
Interesting. Interesting choice of words, Richard. So younger ones will want to imitate the faith, not of Jesus, no, because doesn't the Bible say that to be a Christian you need to be Christ-like and to imitate the faith of Jesus? So I just find it interesting that Richard here is encouraging young ones to imitate the faith of the older, deeply indoctrinated, faithful followers of Judge Rutherford. Interesting. Such an interesting choice of words he is to imitate the faith of the older ones, not imitate the faith of Jesus. Imitate the faith of the older ones who fell hook, line and sinker, deep sinker for the teachings of Joseph Rutherford and his God.
Well, when we heard that there was going to be a special campaign now, Peggy and I, my wife and I, applied for auxiliary pioneer service. We have been preaching God's kingdom for many years, and now there's a special campaign devoted to that subject, God's kingdom, and it's going to be a highlight in our many years of service to Jehovah.
So here we have Joseph Rutherford followers still getting involved in their ministry. They can't go out door to door. They can't stand on the street corners like spiritual prostitutes. So they're getting their people to write letters and to witness to people in that way. But what I want to know is, who's paying for the ink, the paper and the envelopes and the stamp? Because those things cost money, and you can sure bet they ain't getting their expenses paid. You can sure bet that witnesses and this couple, Richard and his wife Peggy, have to foot the bill themselves.
Like Brother Kelsey, has your confidence in Jehovah's promises been strengthened by what you see happening today? People around the world realize how unusual it is to have a pandemic, food shortages, civil unrest, earthquakes, and other disasters all occur at the same time.
Garrett Lesh, I don't know what news you've been watching, but that's not unusual. There is nothing unusual about unrest, food shortages, all of these things. The only thing that's unusual is a pandemic. I'll grant you that one. It's not every day of the week we have a pandemic, but other than that, there is nothing unusual. So I'm not sure what news you've been following.
Isn't it exciting that amidst these critical times, we are participating in a special campaign clearly pointing people to the only real solution, God's kingdom?
Garrett Lesh, is this the kingdom that you and your mates of the governing body are supposed to be ruling in? Because if that's the case, forget it, mate. I don't want no part of that. I'll take my chances, but I don't want to be part of that.
Some who were once associated with Jehovah's organization are also recognizing the fulfillment of Bible prophecy and have been motivated to come back. If you are inactive or disfellowshipped, we encourage you to speak to the elders in your local congregation. They'll be happy to assist you.
Okay, Goat Loaf, you're having a laugh, mate. You're having a laugh. You're having a giraffe. You want people who have escaped from the clutches of your evil, wicked, demonic organisation to go back. Not a chance, mate. Not a chance. There is no way. Why would anybody want to do that? Why? I just don't understand. Why would anybody in their right mind go back to an abusive, evil, wicked, destructive, unchristian, unloving, restrictive, not to mention demonic organisation? Why? Some people, I understand, stay because that's the only way they can have their families and their friends and their network. So I understand that's why some people are forced to stay. Other people stay because they're totally brainwashed. But once somebody has woken up and left, why would anybody want to go back? No. So no, Garrett Lesh. No. No chance. Forget it, mate. Forget it.
Just a few days into the November campaign, a sister in France got a call from a telemarketer. Let's listen as Brother Bruno Faure explains how she took advantage of the opportunity to advertise the kingdom.
This experience began when a sister received a call from a telemarketer. She listened to the saleswoman's offer, but then, instead of simply handing the call, the sister asked for the woman's opinion on the word's condition. After she responded, the sister added that these conditions were all foretold by Jesus, and that deliverance will soon come by means of God's kingdom. The woman showed a real interest and offered to call the sister back with her husband after work to continue the conversation. Well, later the same day, this woman and her husband called back just as promised. They had a good discussion using the Watchtower number 2 being featured in our campaign. And they made an appointment to talk again the following day. Sure enough, on the next day, the couple was ready with their own copy of the Bible. They said that after carefully reading the Watchtower, they were touched by John 17:3 and realized the importance of studying the Bible. They explained that they were originally from Cameroon and they had become familiar with Jehovah's Witnesses when living there. When they consulted ExJW.org, they were touched to see the content available in their mother tongue. Now, they were interested in attending a meeting and continuing these Bible discussions. So arrangements are being made to follow up on the interest.
Clearly, the zealous efforts of our brothers in France and around the world are resulting in a great witness.
How many times have we heard this experience? It's always rehashed in the magazines, always rehashed in the books, was always rehashed at the assemblies and the conventions, always rehashed in the meetings, and now being rehashed on the JW broadcasting. There is always some nondescript brother or sister, always with some nondescript, partly vaguely interested person who is being given a witness, always so nondescript. They take the same scenario and they just rehash it over and over and over and over and over and over again. So bored, so bored. Come on, Jehovah's Witnesses, or as I should say, Joseph Witnesses. We need a new, come on, give us something different, please.
Hasn't the fast-changing world situation heightened your appreciation for the need to prove yourselves ready? Rather than allowing distractions to diminish our spiritual alertness, now more than ever we need to pray, study, attend meetings, and stay active in the ministry. Thank you to all who have worked tirelessly on this kingdom campaign. If you haven't participated in the campaign yet, be sure to do so. What a privilege it is to advertise the kingdom, the solution to all of mankind's problems. By doing so, we can keep on the watch and prove ourselves ready.
And there you have it. Keep yourselves busy. Work tirelessly. Keep studying, attending meetings, going out on field service. Work tirelessly. Be tireless. Don't stop. Keep going. Always do something. Don't take time for yourself. Just keep going. Do what we want you to do. You should be tired. Keep working tirelessly. And that is the constant message. The constant message. Keep working and be tired. Do more. There's more that you can do. But unfortunately, Joseph Witnesses, otherwise known as Jehovah's Witnesses, are working tirelessly for nothing, and they have nothing to show for it. And I was one of these tireless people. I worked tirelessly for free as a pioneer for many, many, many years, with nothing to show for it at the end of it. And it was a bitter lesson, a hard lesson when I finally woke up and realised that I was spiritually abused. So there we go, guys. There we go. We're at the end of this video. If you're still with me at this point, then thank you so much for being here with me. Let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know. Drop a comment in the comment section below. And if you enjoyed my review, then you know what to do. Give me the thumbs up. Hit that thumbs up button. So guys, I am so close to reaching 1,000 subscribers, and I would love to do that in the next couple of weeks. So if you've not done so, please hit that red subscribe button. Well, it's up to you. You could hit it, smash it, punch it, thump it, or tap it lightly, whatever you prefer. But please subscribe to my channel. Subscribe, like and comment, and that way it helps me more than you probably even realize. And the more that you like and comment on my videos, then YouTube algorithms picks up on that, and they then think it's a video that more people should see, and it's then recommended to other people, and that way more people can see my work. So guys, thank you so much for being here with me on this video. Take care of yourselves, keep safe, and I look forward to seeing you on my next video. If you can't wait that long, then I will recommend a couple of videos right at the end of this section so that you could just click and watch a few of my previous videos. So guys, until next time, stay safe and I'll see you soon. Bye.